All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to Keeping Up with the Joneses, only on Turfette Radio. It is your industry. It is your station. And for the 8th day straight, classes canceled, both at the collegiate level and at the K through 12, all because of Snowmageddon. And we are preparing for storm number 3 tonight. And is it going to hit us? I would say so. Here in North Carolina, we've complained about never getting snowed, Turfette, and look at what's happened. Did we run our mouth too much?
No, I just think what's meant to be is meant to be.
That's true.
But it is more snow than North Carolina has had since 2018. We've hit
8 years.
We've hit some records. Like Monday morning, it was 3 degrees in Greensboro, and we haven't been that cold since the 60s.
Yeah, and that's just is it global warming?
It's so funny because I was literally sitting here thinking the same thing. So much for global warming.
Yeah. I don't know. But remember seeing the movie about, what was it? It was not the perfect storm, but it was something where we had like an ice age. They said the global warming caused it because the polar caps melted and, dumped into the ocean, and the ocean's got like a few degrees colder, and that's what caused all the weather changes. So
yeah, I remember a movie like that. A group of kids ended up in the
library in New York.
Yes.
And
what was the name of that movie? Jake
Gyllenhaal was in it.
Gyllenhaal. He was the lead actor. I bet I look it up. I can tell you the name of it.
Yeah, but it was cool. They started burning the tax books instead of they saved all of the remember the art books and
The Day After Tomorrow.
The Day After Tomorrow, yeah. It was like 2 big storms that came together and caused like an ice age. Like Mexico shut their borders down and wouldn't let Americans in because like all the way down to like where we are, like North Carolina, South Carolina, top of Georgia, became like Antarctica. So who knows if that's what's doing. But anyway, as we prepare for storm number 3 here, and we're kind of riding that line, aren't we?
We are. I was looking. The weather came up this morning, AccuWeather, and yeah, I mean we're gonna get hit again right there.
Wow. Yep. So my guys need to rest and get ready for tonight. So, oh my goodness.
I know our guys have put in nearly almost 80 hours since last Sunday.
I would say, for Jared and Jason, probably more than that. If you're counting from the time storm number 1 hit
till yesterday.
Till yesterday.
Yeah.
So probably more than that. Because payroll this week didn't have 2 days on it because of it, and they were at 70 hours
already.
Yeah. And then the 2 days ago on the next pay period. So I mean they're kicking butt and taking names.
Jared is tired. When Jared says he's tired, he's tired.
Well, when he doesn't eat dinner.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I let him alone.
Yeah.
I called him. I called him twice. Both times he's like, yeah, I might, I don't know. And then he never showed up over here to eat. So.
And we never heard him come in like late last night or anything to eat. Like when he was out, he was out. So.
I think he just crashed.
Yeah. Can't blame him.
And Jason overslept the other morning. He was supposed to have been at one of the job sites at 4:00, and he woke up at 7:30.
Yeah. He called me, and he was in a panic.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh no, he's hit somebody. He's backed the piece of equipment into something or whatever."
Yeah, that was my first thought too when I heard him. I was like, "Oh no, what's happened?"
And he's like, I overslept, boss. I'm sorry, man. I'm like, okay, it's still like,
yeah, it's not the end of the world.
yeah, he still got there and got it done. So, but we made an impression on a new client yesterday. So he did text me back and says that they're looking at us for maintenance, like general landscape maintenance. So
yeah, commercial property.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow, you saved us. So I was like, and if we have you as a landscape maintenance customer, you're going to be priority when it comes to snow services. And that's the way it should be. And I can't believe that their landscape maintenance contractor told them, nah, we can't get to it. Just there's no way. So it seems like you would take care of your existing clients before you're out there hustling and bustling trying to get the new work.
If they were. I mean, maybe they didn't have the manpower. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, we've gotten a lot of calls for driveways, and unfortunately, we didn't have the manpower to take on anybody's driveways because our commercial properties took literally all of our man hours.
It did.
So there was no way we could have done driveways. No.
And you can't use it because they'll have two cars parked in it. A long drive. Where are we going to pull the truck and trailers with skid steers? Like,
yeah.
it was just too much. And like you said, our focus is the clients to pay the bills. So we can't jump around and, push $100 driveway.
I heard somebody say at one of the conferences we were at, excuse me, I had one of the guys say, I'm not taking on anybody's snow removal if I don't do their maintenance.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't. You can't. The phones ring off the hook. I don't know. You feel bad turning down work.
You really do. I hate telling people no. I really and I understand, the importance of people needing to get out of their driveways and get to work. But we've had other people we've had to refer them to. Call this person. They may be able to do it because we just had. We were limited in what we were able to do outside of our commercial properties.
Yeah. And, there are people that are geared up for driveways.
Yeah.
A smaller truck, smaller plow on the front. They may even have a rear plow, that you can back in and drag out. Because that's always what I've felt. It's like, okay, you start at the bottom of the driveway and you push all the snow up to their garage door. And then you got to figure out a way, to remove that. It's those, and I'm not sure what they're called because we've never had one. But there are snow plows that you can put on the back of a.
But I've not seen anybody around here have one.
We're not, yeah.
Everybody's had them on the front of their trucks.
Yeah, and they work in combination with the front plow. So it's like you can push, and then if you get in an area that you need to back and pull the snow out, it can work. So, but anyway. And that's what we're going to talk about today is snow removal because storm number 3 here in North Carolina, and it's only, February 4th.
We're expected to get up to about 3 inches of snow today. On top of everything else we've just dealt with. We had ice. We had about 4 inches total accumulation between ice and snow a week ago. And then this past weekend, we got hammered again with more snow. Davidson County got 16 inches of snow.
Yeah.
I bet here where we are, we probably got 10 to 12 inches where we are. Yeah. Easily. And now we're getting hammered again today with about 3 more inches.
Yeah. And unfortunately, again, it starts out as rain, and then the temperatures drop, right? Or are they calling snow starting out? Because it used to be where it was just rain.
I think it's supposed to start out as that, and then it turns into snow.
Yeah. So as the temperatures drop, so we're going to get that rain. It's going to be wet. It's going to freeze, and then it's going to snow on top of it.
Yeah.
So more bad stuff, kind of like the first storm.
I know. That's all we need.
Yeah. So school won't go back this week.
The college has been out a week and a half now.
Yeah,
as of today, it's been a week and a half.
Yeah.
And
8.
after the weather today, we probably will not be back on campus until next week.
Whew. You know how hard that's going.
2 full weeks.
2 full weeks.
I mean, thankfully, I'll say this. COVID really taught us how to adapt to this type of thing. with school, with
Oh, yeah.
everybody going virtual. So that has helped in that sense.
Yeah.
Even though we haven't been in class, you've given a lot of alternate assignments for us not being able to be in the classroom. So that's made up for, class time. But Davie County High School today is closed. Like, they are not doing
They're
any
not
more
even doing it virtual.
No, they're just closed today.
And I'm because does the state only allow so many virtual days?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure if we ask somebody that's in the educational world, they could probably tell us how many virtual days that schools are allowed to have. At this point, it may eat into the kids losing some of their spring break, which stinks because it's not fun to lose your spring break to snow.
No,
because you can't get out and do anything, unless your parents have the opportunity to pack everybody up and go somewhere tropical during a snowstorm. I mean, you could do that, but not every family is able to do that. So, it kind of stinks to lose your spring break to cold, snowy temperatures.
But I'm wondering how many like high schoolers and middle schoolers think like that. They just wait for that text message, school canceled, and they say, yes, I can sleep in tomorrow. And then are they really worried about spring break that's in like a month or a month and a half? Or are they focused on just today?
I talked to Jaden the other night about it, and he's hoping it doesn't affect their spring break. But at this point, I mean, what do you do?
Yeah. And luckily he's a senior, so if they were to extend school into the summer, graduation date set, they can't change that.
Yeah.
So he still graduates on time.
I am still trying to come to the reality that my son is graduating high school this year. It's the last kid we have in high school.
Yeah.
Jaden is it. Summer graduated last year, now Jaden this year, and then we officially will have no more kids in traditional school.
Yeah, no more youngins. No more youngins in the
Now, they haven't
12.
left home yet, but I mean, Jaden is supposed to be meeting his recruiter this month for everything that they need to get started to get him signed up for the Air Force. Recruitment office has been backed up for the last couple of months, so his recruiter called him and said, we're going to work on it in February. I mean, Jaden's in no hurry. He knows what he's going to do.
Yeah,
so.
True. And, the snow may have even delayed it further.
I know. Which Jaden's not complaining. He was like, if my ship date doesn't happen till fall, that's fine. That gives him the summer at home. And I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, but there's still nothing like basic training in the summer.
Well,
to graduate high school and leave a week later, that's...
Well, for Mama, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining.
It just, and a lot of that, if he's planning on doing 20 years or whatever, that could affect retirement date and stuff like that. So it's...
I don't think he cares
about
that. I mean, he cares about it, don't take me wrong, but I don't think that this is affecting that.
Yeah. Well, cool. Good deal. Let's take a short break and let's get back and let's talk about snow removal services. Because you're becoming the expert at that as well.
I'm no expert at anything. I'm one of those people that knows a little bit about everything and not a whole lot about one thing.
You know a lot about snow removal because you've been with us right there in the middle of it. We'll be right back, guys.
Eric the Turf Teacher Jones. Teaching you life lessons, business strategies, and leadership.
Let's grow together. Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey, this is Newell Montgomery from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You're listening to my favorite radio station, Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Lawn and Landscape Pros, are you ready to run your business instead of it running you? Then it's time to join the Profit Circle. Led by Wayne the Profit Voles, this business coaching group helps you grow and profit by mastering the real stuff. Selling, marketing, advertising, cost calculation, bidding, contracts, customer and employee relationships, scaling your business, and more. If you're ready to become more profitable and more successful, joining is easy. Just head to profitsrs.com. That's profits, AREUS.com, and click the Join the Profit Circle button right on the homepage. Because remember, profit is not a dirty word.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Project Evergreen supports military families with free lawn, landscape, and snow removal services. To give or get help through green care or snow care for troops, visit projectevergreen.org.
Are you tired of feeling like you're the only one who can't keep up?
With your clients, your crew, and your overgrown to-do list.
Well, we're here to help, or at least make you laugh while you try.
I'm Jennifer Jones, the Turfette.
And I'm Eric Jones, the turf teacher.
And together, we're keeping up with the Joneses.
It's an exclusive presentation of Turf's Up Radio, airing live every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern.
We cover industry insight, real-world struggles, and why that one client still thinks you mow for fun.
And if you miss it live, don't worry.
We upload the show to our podcast platform so you can listen on demand at turfsupradio.com while you're on a job, in your truck, or hiding from your crew in the supply closet.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Because in this industry, if you're not laughing,
you're probably spreading mulch in the wrong yard. Only on Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We got a turf time of 8:16 here this morning. And we're going to jump into the topic of snow removal, and if that's something that you would want to offer your clients, we are here to help with that. So with snow removal, guys, it can be a great additional service to offer existing clients, but
I do want to bring this up because I think this is funny. I was sitting here reading on the break that
somebody was arrested for snow removal.
Well, if snow removal had been done at this point, I think these people would have gotten away with their crime. But there was a man broke into a local business and stole the safe and like $1,800 in cash and some merchandise out of this store. The police officers followed. He done it on foot, then had somebody pick him up once he got everything out of the store. So they brought in their canine. The canine followed the scent, and then they followed tracks to a house. They get to the house, and there they find the safe, the money, and all the merchandise. So the snow ratted them out. So if somebody, car tracks and feet tracks, and the fact that there was human scent, so the canine was able to track them.
So the canine even smelt it through the snow.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, like, they say if you're being chased by, jump in the water. The water will kind of get rid of it, but snow kind of.
It's so funny. And this happened Sunday morning here in Iredell County. Somebody.
And that was a bad day for snow.
Yeah, like you would think nobody in their right mind is going to be out trying to rob anybody today because you can't.
And it's $1,800. He's going to go to prison the rest of his life for $1,800.
Yeah, $1,800. Is it even worth it? I mean, it's not worth it. Why? I don't get it. Just even today, Savannah Guthrie's mom has been taken, and they can't find her. She was in Arizona at her home. Savannah's other sister dropped her off Saturday night at 9:30, and they said her pacemaker quit syncing with her Apple Watch at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, and she hasn't been found. And
so I wonder what clues that could give them.
I don't know, but President Trump has now involved himself in it. So hopefully, with more FBI assistance, they'll be able to find it. But I don't. Crime.
It's on the rise.
It is, and I just don't. It's not on the rise. Crime is always going to be here. Crime has actually literally fallen since immigration laws have been locked into place and being enforced. The crime in the states has really fallen since then because they're getting rid of illegal criminals. But I don't understand people that don't think past the moment.
What do you mean? Past the moment of what? Like for her?
Well, no, it's like I told you yesterday. Why in the world would you abduct somebody and then you send a ransom note to a TV broadcasting network, TMZ?
That might not even been the abductors.
I know, but now they had to send that letter to the FBI, and I was like, do people really think that ransom works?
No.
Does it? I mean, it doesn't work. You're going to end up getting caught. So
You
why?
You are.
I don't get it. It baffles me. People are just dumb. Just dumb.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. They're dumb to take on snow removal services sometimes too, aren't they?
It's not an easy job. It's a very hard job.
It is very hard.
And unless you have equipment that's got closing cabs and heat, I mean, you're dealing with the elements the whole time. It's not an easy job. And I'll say our guys busted tail the past week and a half. They really have. They have put in literal man hours outside in this mess.
Yeah. And guys, like I said, it is a great additional service to offer to your existing customers, but you got to take each storm is different.
Yeah.
You may have a storm that, especially in our area where we have a wintry mix. Well, that's what happened with the first storm. It started out as what? We had all the ice, and then it snowed a little bit on top of it. And that's one reason that the state and everybody did not push snow as soon as it started. They wanted to get that snow on top of the ice to give people a little bit of compaction. Well, then again, it happened 5 days later, and we were just packed with ice. And then it snowed 2 weekends back to back.
Yeah.
And luckily for us as snowplow, contractors, that it did happen on the weekends because a lot of these businesses were closed. And so it gave us time. If this would have happened on a Monday, people would have been losing their minds.
Yeah.
If the dentist offices and doctor's offices could not open, they, because of snow, they would have been upset, and we would have had to work more continuous hours than we did. It would have been like 3 days of straight pushing.
I don't know how our guys would have done it. In all honesty, I don't think that they wouldn't have been able to last or have the endurance to last as long as they've lasted if they had to work that many hours for the first 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, and it would. But if we'd have, let's say, if we'd have pushed solid for 2 days, we'd have got it done. Versus working, 10, 11, 12-hour days and spreading it over the 3 and 4 days. Because what we had to hit first was the Harris Teeters and get them ready to go. Next was the restaurants that you thought were going to open. Once you found out the restaurant may or may not be open or they weren't opening, you could wait and get it a little bit later. But everybody's got to have their grocery stores and, banks, drive-throughs. Well, people, why do they got to have cash? But that's, certain areas that you have to hit first. But again, each storm is different. The second storm that we had, we were able to clear sidewalks with backpack blowers.
Yeah, when it's just snow.
It was just snow.
When it's just snow, but when it's impacted with ice, you've got to have shovels at that point because now you got to break through the ice to get it off the sidewalk.
Yeah,
and and the ice melt. That was another problem we ran into. There was no ice melt to be found during the ice storm. Yeah, if you didn't already have ice melt, you weren't going to get any.
Yeah, true. If you didn't have it pre-stocked, it wasn't.
Thankfully, we had a whole pallet here, so that got us through the ice storm. But we ordered more snow melt or ice melt. I mean, rather.
And we just got it 2 days ago.
Just picked it up. Was today? Oh yeah, we picked it up Monday.
Yeah, and that's we went through the second storm without any ice melt, and luckily it was powder.
Yeah.
So
thankfully,
we were able to use backpack blowers and stuff, but. Guys, if you're in the service and if you're new, this is a great way to attract new clients because our phone has rang off the hook.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we weren't able to handle a lot of it. We had, other doctors' offices calling. We had other shopping centers. We just could not handle it, mainly because we want to take care of the existing customers that we have. Again, based on the situation, are you equipped to handle it? when you're moving skid steers, you're moving tractors, or if you're, using plow trucks, or using the stand-on Toros, which I'm gonna have to show you a picture of that thing. I know Turf Nerds uses them, and those things are just immaculate. Those are what's perfect for driveways and sidewalks and stuff like that. But again, you got to have a trailer. You've got to transport it. You've got to get there, and it depends on how comfortable your guys feel driving on this mess. If you pre-stage and get all of your equipment to a larger location and your employees meet you there, it's a lot less risky pulling those trailers on the ice. So luckily we've got some guys that know how to do that. But first time pulling a trailer on ice, we saw what happened with our nephew. Things can happen, and it can get a little sticky, but can be very profitable. But you got to remember, it is unpredictable, and one major accident could cause you to lose all profits during the snowstorm. So
yeah, I think safety is key when you're out doing this. And sticking to the safety parameters, don't fudge on them, because a lot of times when you fudge or you're like, nah, I'm going to make this an exception. Usually that's the moment where it's not an exception to make.
Yeah. Well, and when it comes to safety, sometimes it is. Sometimes you just have to force yourself to stop and rest. And you were pretty adamant making sure that I told people no, or that I told them, hey, I cannot get you today, but we can get you later this afternoon or early tonight.
Because there's a lot of pressure from people. They're in a hurry to get something done, and they're very adamant. And a lot of times you can let that pressure affect your response. Yeah. And I told you from the get-go, don't take on any new jobs. We just do not have the manpower to take it on. We didn't. And I think it's unfair to your crew to take on jobs past what you already have when you don't have the man hours to do it. It's not the manpower, it's the man hours. Like, these guys, they need to go home and rest. They need to sleep. It's physical labor in a lot of the things that the guys have had to do. If you don't have smaller equipment to do sidewalks and the cart corrals and drive-throughs and things like that, a lot of it is by hand shoveling. So, when you've got people out there, you got manpower on the ground with shovels, and then we've got manpower in equipment. And, especially if the cab is not warm, we had one piece of equipment that had a warm cab. The other one did not. Yeah. So, you've got a good portion of your crew out in the elements for 10, 12-hour days. They're exhausted. Yeah,
they are. And, I just, I'm thankful for them. I love the guys. But I think of my dad sitting on a big open cab trailer. A tractor, driving down job to job, and he's all bundled up in coveralls, and all you see is like the little eyes out of the ski mask, and because they didn't try to move it with trailers and trucks. They just drove the equipment, and that's hard. That is hard. But Dad didn't let us go home. I remember one time we had it. It was probably in 2000 or 1999 when Greensboro to Raleigh got probably 2 feet. I don't know if you remember that, or you might have been off at college.
What year was it?
It was like 99 or 2000.
I was in college. I came home for the holidays, but I wasn't here probably
for the storm.
But it happened. Chicago got snow. Lake effect snow was awful. It would be like 2-3 feet high. Yeah. Lake effect snow. And then below zero, like negative degrees. So,
and the guys up there were just more capable of snow because it was expected every year. Yeah. So everybody was equipped with equipment. And I'm sure the college had their procedures in place to remove the snow. But here to get dumped on like 2 feet, and we got all of our stuff done. And I remember going. This was back in the days of Yellow Pages. And people are like, what's a yellow page?
I remember the Yellow Pages.
And I
I typed up a list. We actually had Microsoft Word. I typed up a list and created a mailing list and got their fax numbers, because a lot of people listed their fax numbers in the Yellow Page ad. And so we faxed every property management company in Greensboro, and the phones rang off the hook. So we loaded up and hauled, and we stayed for 3 days in Greensboro. We did not sleep. We rotated sleeping in the trucks. Somebody would be plowing in the truck. They had somebody with them with a shovel and ice melt and stuff in the back, and we would rotate sleeping.
Yes, I understand there are situations where you may have to be that extreme, but you and I did not operate that way with our team.
No.
We made sure our guys were done at a certain time, go home, get rest, sleep, because you're no good to us the next day if you're not getting rest. You're just not. And in this day and age, people are just not going to push themselves to that extreme.
No.
They're just not. So.
And our main guy we hadn't seen.
No, that's a whole nother subject for another day.
Like, no phone call, no nothing. But anyway, with snow removal, guys, successful and profitable snow removal requires specialized equipment. It does. You can take what you're using and implement it, but it needs a system to address the mechanics of snow removal, an effective pricing system. And that's where so many people go wrong, is how to price this work, and then the knowledge and dedication to customers and from employees. And it does. Dedication from your employees is probably more key than your dedication to the customers, because if you don't have your employees, you can't service the customers.
But to my point, making sure that our employees are taken care of, making sure they're getting fed, they're taking breaks, making sure that they go home at a decent time and get sleep. That's important, because if they're not getting that, they're going to wear down really fast, really quick.
Yeah. And, Jared always bought the guys a lunch. He'd call them and say, hey, I was like, just go, if you can find something open.
Yeah.
But
a lot of the Mexican restaurants were always open.
Yeah. And they were the ones, hey, get my parking lot, So, but you do have to do that. And like I said, we take care of our guys. It's kind of like taking care of your gear take care of you, take care of your employees. Your employees will take care of you. So, guys, I wrote a lecture several years ago. I don't know what years this say. 9 years ago. Wow. We're looking at these notes and just looking at the information. But, it is what it is. Storm number 3 is here. And so when do you think let's talk about marketing. I would have never thought this. I would have never thought to market in what months, Turfette? If you're new, like if you're setting up your business and you're wanting to get snow removal clients, when is the best? Besides the storms that are happening now, when do you think the best time to market snow removal services?
It's always July and August.
Yes, and why is that? Why are a lot of these commercial guys doing it at that time of year?
Well, it's all about the money.
Yeah, they're setting their budgets for the next year, and so they're wanting these prices. They're wanting these service contracts so that they can implement it into their marketing plan or their actual budget for the following year. And so, market in July and August. Focus on market niche. So, what is the market niche? What specialized equipment do you have? And again, always take care of your existing clients first, and then have that personal contact and direct mail advertising. That's how you get snow removal clients. Social media and stuff like that's not really going to get it. But yes, we did get a lot of hits on our website for snow removal. People were Googling it, and we come up pretty quick, second or third for snow removal in the area. But when it comes to marketing for that in July and August, It's a matter of picking up the phone. Hey, we offer snow removal services. Would like to be your service contractor, and direct mail pieces. That's how you're going to get the attention of property management companies, because that's who you're working for.
Right. It's basically putting your face in front of them.
Yeah.
If you're putting your business name in front of that client ahead of time, when the time comes around, and maybe they haven't, maybe they won't book.
Yeah.
Maybe, there are some business, I'm not worried. That's not a priority. We never get snow. We're just not going to worry about it. But then when the snow hits, oh, yeah, I remember this company reached out. It's a good way of just getting your name in the door so that when the event does happen, that I remember this company emailed me or sent me some pricing sheets. So when it comes to snow removal, how do you normally, or what is the best pricing practice for snow removal?
Or it's the
best practice for snow removal pricing. How do you price out your snow removal?
A lot of guys are going to do it by the hour, which and here they are. Here we got them listed. You got your per hour charge, you got your per inch, you've got your per push, and you've got your per season. And so we'll break all four of those down. Per hour is, hey, I've got a truck and a plow. I get $85, $90 an hour to go push snow. Problem there is, you're driving through. If you're per hour, everybody's got cameras up.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are only here 15 minutes. Well, I get it. No, you said you're per hour. You were here 1/4 of an hour. So that can be an issue. I don't like the per hour unless it is a major, huge site that you're not leaving.
I think it needs to be a minimum and then per hour after the minimum. My flat rate is this. I'll charge you $100 to come to your driveway.
Yeah.
If it takes me more than an hour, then it's this much per hour increments. And then you could break it down by quarter hour or half hour, whatever.
Yeah.
I think you've got to make sure you protect your overhead. You're not doing the job for free, and you don't want to lose money doing the job.
No.
So at least having a minimum set price, this is what it's going to cost for me to show up to get it started. And then after the first hour, this is what it's going to start charging after the first hour.
Well, and that per hour is, how many people are you taking with you? Is it your truck and plow? And then you've got a guy jumping out with a shovel to hit the walks. So all of that needs to be included. Per inch, we used to be with a company called Northwest Snow Management. And this is where I really learned the actual per inch pricing. And it was, at 1 inch, we were mobilized. So anything 1 inch, the banks, the drugstores, everybody wanted to keep everything clean. So from 1 to 3 inches was a flat fee to clear the whole lot. 3 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 14. They had it broken down per inch. Well, based on what the weather meteorologist said, that's what you're going to get per site. And so if it was a 12-inch snow and X amount of dollars, they paid $400 to push that lot, you knocked it out. It didn't matter if you were there 30 minutes or if you were there 5 hours. Based on the inch, the depth of the snow is what you got paid for. Same thing with the walks. They had it broke down that way. And then ice melt. Per push would just be, hey, there's a snow event. I'm going to charge you $250 to go there and work. Per season, this can get tricky. You're charging a client, let's say, X amount of dollars for no matter how much snow they get. We're going to charge you $10,000 for the season to push all of your snow in all of your events. What if it doesn't snow?
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's a great concept for an area that does get snow every year. Here in North Carolina, you would not do well charging client seasonal pricing. You just wouldn't, because the client,
we don't get enough.
Right. The client can come back and say, there was not one drop of snow this season and you've charged me this amount of money in the contract. I'm not paying that. And then they can dispute it. So I think that type of charging should only be for locations that get snow.
Yeah.
And it's a definite.
Yeah. I got a friend up in Pennsylvania. He's a strawberry farmer. And so he does strawberries and snow removal. And he is doing these huge warehouses. So he actually goes and builds salt bins on site and builds the covers to keep his equipment underneath. And I don't know if it's for like FedEx or it may be one of the big transport companies. But he says, I'm under contract. These pathways for the tractor trailers have to be cleared. So he's using big rubber tire loaders. All of his work is per season. So he gives them a flat fee to keep all of these.
That is understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, especially if you're at ports, in states that have ports and a lot of shipping from overseas comes in. Yeah, you got to keep
it clear.
the movement open where people can get in and out of there and work safely, because that's a liability for your company if you're not keeping the roads and the sidewalks and stuff clear going into these warehouses and the port areas. You got to think about your clients and your customers and your employees.
Yeah.
So that's a huge liability you take on for your negligence if you don't make sure that you keep a safe working area.
Yeah. And what's cool about his contract work like that, like he gets these new rubber tire loaders. I don't know if it's each year he gets brand new or if it's the following year, and they may be on some type of lease program. But like he says, if I have a piece of equipment down, I'm not able to push snow. So keeping that new stuff going, and I mean, the big tires that they have to bring into these equipment on tractor and trailers, it's just awesome actually watching that. So again, always take into consideration, guys, and I'm like, each area of the country is different, and each snow event is different. You're used to getting snow. Guess what? What if you have an ice event? That's a little bit different. So what about retainers? Turfette, should that be incorporated into snow removal services? And I guess, what is a retainer for these guys?
Well, again, I think this is very area specific.
It is.
They're like our local shopping mall, Haynes Mall. Obviously, the company it works with obviously had a retainer. They had all their equipment on site. Mm-hmm. So I do think that it's area specific. I think it's company specific, depending on, because if you've got a large customer base area like a mall, a shopping center, that needs to get plowed out. So you've got all these businesses inside that need to operate or have the ability to operate. I think that that's a good way of, getting that secured money.
Yeah. Yeah. And what it does, it guarantees that shopping center that you're going to be there. Like if they've paid you a retainer, and it gives them the exclusive right of certain pieces of equipment that is tailored to that property. So, you have to hire an attorney, you give a retainer. You got to hire our good friend Ted, who's a private eye. They take a retainer up front, mm-hmm. and they pull their costs, their pricing that they're charging from that retainer. And same thing when it comes to the snow operations like that. But, airports would be another good thing. And we were talking about the ice melt. When we finally did get our ice melt, and they were straight up. They're like, there's a long list. We're going to take care of everybody. But who was their number one priority during the snow? Our ice melt.
Our number one priority here in North Carolina, as of this last two snowstorms, was our medical systems.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure that the hospitals and the doctors' offices were first in getting any type of ice melt on the ground. And I think that that's fair. I do. Yeah. I think that's fair. You've 100%. Got emergencies. You got people, dealing with medical issues that need to get into doctors' offices and need to get into medical facilities. So I think that's a very fair exception. I do think that needs to happen. And of course, airports are another place. People still need to fly out. If planes are still able to get de-icing off the ground and keep operational, I think airports is another place that would have, precedence.
But I just would not want to get on that plane.
I have flown out of Chicago after a major snowstorm, and you get out there and they've got the taxiways and everything cleaned out. You got piles of snow all over the airport, but they make sure that the planes are able to leave the gates, taxi out to the runway, and get out.
Yeah.
Major airports that work out of frigid areas like that, they're equipped for it.
True.
Little airplanes, little airports like here in North Carolina, we've got one at Greensboro. It's a smaller airport. They're pretty much equipped to do what they need to do. But I think area specific. Yeah, I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah,
it's not an issue. I have flown out of snow covered airports before.
I did. The only time that I remember doing that, I flew out to St. Louis, Missouri to do a presentation. I mean, it was flight out that morning, flight back that night. And for some reason, leaving St. Louis, they flew me into Chicago. And it was a major snowstorm. And I'm sitting here thinking, do I really want to get on this plane? And, I mean, we did. We took off. I mean, there was the de-icing being sprayed all over the plane and stuff like that, and it was just it was a little spooky for me. So,
I got to a point where I flew so much that I didn't even give it a second thought, really. It just became such a normal occurrence for me. But people that don't fly as often might have one trip a year, if that. Yeah, of course, that's going to be a nervous situation. But, you know, let's talk about our contracts. When you create and develop contracts for snow.
Yeah. Usually, you know, your customers are going to want you to start at 1 inch. Anything less, you know, they're thinking that if it's a wintry mix, it could turn into water, and that 1 inch could, you know, definitely be washed away if it turns to rain. Are we going to use ice melt? Or are we going to use sand? You know, a lot of people don't want ice melt on their concrete driveways, their sidewalks, because it can deteriorate the sidewalks. But how are we going to get rid of it? You know, for the longest time, you know, after a snow event, if we don't get any rain, you're going to still see all this ice melt on sidewalks and stuff like that. And then people are like, hey, you got to go and clean it up and remove it and get it. But again, that's charges that you can go and do that. What do you do with the snow when you push it?
Yeah.
Because you're creating a hazard, freeze thaw. And if you're not putting the snow on a downhill slope.
Yeah, for any kind of runoff, it's going to run right back into your parking lot, your driveway, your sidewalk. And
it's going to create slip fall hazard. So you gotta have that. Or if they want you to haul it off, you know, we see that all the time. Dump trucks full of snow, and they're moving it off site, or they're moving it somewhere on site that's hidden and out of the way from, you know, customer situations. Property lines. That's
a good one, because we ran into that this snowstorm. You know, our guys were telling us an issue they had at one of the shopping centers.
Yeah. Where do I stop at? You know, who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for the road into the customer's property? You know, and I've always wondered that. We go and we clear all these these properties, and the actual main road into it is not pushed. And they're like, well, that's you know, done by somebody else, or that's done by the state or by the city. And, you know, they're always the last ones to get it. Payment. When are you going to get paid?
That is always a very worthy question.
Yeah.
When am I going to get paid for this?
Yeah, and that needs to be in your contract, because there's more than likely going to be, you know, hey, I need that certificate of insurance. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to fill out a payment application. You're going to have to tell me how many bags of salt that you used, or if you're, you know, doing it by the dump truck loads, you know, how many tons did you put out? And all of that is going to be listed in your payment application. And a lot of these people will be like, hey, submit your application by the 15th of this month to be paid by the 30th of the following month. They're buying themselves 45 days. You don't want customers, if you're not equipped to finance it, you don't want to take on these clients. And luckily, our customers pay. You know, we'll be able to bill our property management companies, and they'll cut a check as soon as they get it. Jared was showing us somebody advertising for gravel roads.
You know, I understand, because here in the South, and you see a huge portion of gravel lots and gravel driveways. Because gravel is utilized a lot here in the South.
Yeah.
And how do you do snow removal on a gravel lot or gravel driveway? That's an interesting.
I won't touch them. There's no way. Because we used to do it. Do you know how many times you have to go back and replace gravel? You cleaned all the gravel off of my gravel driveway. Now I don't have any gravel, Eric. You came and pushed the snow, and so you're having to never again. Somebody calls with a gravel driveway. Sorry, you're just gonna have to let it melt because we ain't gonna do it. And I know several other companies that they won't touch it with a 9-foot pole.
Yeah, because the client who has a gravel driveway is already going to experience impaction with that snow and ice coming on top of gravel. That gravel. Your water table is rising. The ground is moist. The rocks are going to sink because anything heavy is going to fall. Gravity's going to take place.
Yeah.
And now you've got gravel sitting on top of muddy ground, and those rocks are going to sink below the surface. And then once the snow goes away, you're going to have somebody come out and rake your driveway to try to pull some of the gravel back up. But then now you've got the tillage issue in your driveway, and it's just you're going to have to go back through and put new gravel down. You and I are going to experience that. Yeah. I think that's why some of our tires are getting popped out here in this driveway, because our driveway is no longer seeing signs of gravel. It's more sharp spikes sticking up out of the ground than it is coverage. So,
well, hopefully too many spikes sticking up.
Well, we've had 2 tires this week go because of the driveway.
Yeah, and that the trailer tire, it's been going down for a little bit. We just had to pump it up, but
gravel investment needs to be in your household budget after winter storm. Anyway.
But what I'm saying is, if I was to go and do a gravel driveway, I guarantee that customer's going to call. Hey, I want you to replace my gravel. You scraped all my gravel off.
Yeah. You're exactly right.
My gravel's gone because of you, Eric. I paid you $100 to scrape my driveway, and I've lost all my gravel. And then you're going to spend $5,000, having Vulcan materials
not cheap
to come out and put new gravel down. There's no way. You got a gravel driveway, don't call Elite Landscape Contractors.
Yeah.
We can't do it.
Yeah.
Not going to. Mobilization charge. That's only going to work for your larger clients. That's to get everything there. So we know the storm is happening tonight. Our storm number 3 is happening tonight. So I could legally charge our largest client a mobilization charge to get everything on site prepped and ready to go. And they understand that. They're like, yes. And what that is doing, it's almost like that retainer. It gives them first right of our equipment. And it's a lot easier for our guys to meet on site. We're not having to pull trailers through this mess. Everything is on site, and we can make it happen. And with your contract, make sure that you can hold yourself harmless for any and all liabilities, which is probably going to be a little difficult because if you did slide into somebody's vehicle, you're going to have to pay to fix that. That's just the way it is.
That's going to be something. Are you really being negligent because it's a snowstorm?
You're not. No, it's an accident. I mean, or what? You've been in insurance, so tell us about that.
Well, everything always falls back on the negligence of the driver. In this situation, if you're pushing snow and you're sitting on ice, okay, negligence. The lawyers are going to look at you and say, well, if you knew the conditions, you shouldn't have been out there doing it in the first place. You should have waited, blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be somebody to fight the cause. There's always going to be somebody that's going to break through the fundamentals of why you should and should not do this and, hold you liable. So I think first and foremost on any contract you send out, especially when it comes to snow removal, that you don't hold us reliable for any damages. But in most cases, that doesn't always, it's not foolproof. So making sure that you have general liability insurance is going to come in handy, because in situations like this, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to make a mistake. Negligence can go into, I wasn't paying attention to what was in front of me or behind me. And if you don't have cameras in your equipment, you can't prove whether
that you're right or wrong.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if you're the one that hit that person, you're the one who's negligent and you're the one that's liable. So I don't know really how how foolproof that is to put that on all your contracts, but you definitely want to put it on your contracts.
Yeah.
I would rather put it on there and it be fought through later than not have it on there to begin with.
Yeah.
But make sure you have general liability insurance for such a time as snow plowing, because there could be accidents.
Yeah.
And, and make sure you have workman's comp, because you've got employees that might slip and fall and have an accident. And, it's happened because of the job site and where they are. So making sure you protect yourself as a business. There's ways to protect your business, how you incorporate, whether you're an LLC, that's a whole other subject for another day, but how you build your business, protecting your personal liability. A lot of times, if your general liability pays out and the judgment has been handed to you that's more than your general liability policy, they're going to go after your personal liability at that point. And if all your liability is ran out and it's hit its max, then they're going to go after liquid assets at that point. So you just got to make sure you are covered in all areas. So my number one advice to any company that's out there, it is compulsory to have insurance. If you pull out of that driveway in a vehicle, you are now compulsory and now have to have insurance, because now it's a gamble. You go out on the road, somebody could hit you, you could hit somebody.
Yeah.
So never not have insurance. And, and it's required to have insurance. But how many times have we heard accidents happen that the driver didn't have insurance or hadn't paid for insurance?
And just the other day, you paid Farm Bureau. Like you were on the phone while we were traveling somewhere, or we were driving down the road or something. But you kept. It was on the way to the doctor when I fell or something. But yeah, we took before the snow event. We made sure
everything
insurance
was up to date.
Yeah. You have to. So, and one day lapse and you have an accident, you're not covered.
Yeah, and that could stink, especially if you end up in court and they say, "Oh, you had a lapse of insurance from this date to that date, and the accident happened during this time frame." Well, guess what? Your insurance is not going to cover.
Yeah.
So, number one advice: check your insurance policies. Make sure everything is active. Make sure you have general liability. Make sure you have workman's comp, because if you have general liability, it's going to take care of the clients and customers that get hurt. If you have workman's comp, it's going to take care of you and your employees. So just make sure you protect your business at all costs. Protect your business and don't be negligent. And that's where safety procedures come into play. If you are going to do snow removal, make sure you have a safety briefing before the guys pull out of the driveway.
True. And when it comes to that insurance, again, go ahead and have your agent send over a certificate of insurance to the client you're working for to go ahead and prove, hey, I'm legit. I've got this. It's a matter of all they do is call it and say, hey, we could call our office. Boom, it's sent right to the property management company, just like that.
Yeah.
So
it's really simple if people would just pay attention. Because really, at the end of the day, insurance is for negligent people.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. That's really what it boils down to. You were negligent. And if they prove that you were negligent, you got to pay.
Yeah, that's true. Well, one last thing I want to say about snow removal. Guys, before the storm, I would love to see you guys go ahead and actually do what we call a dry run. And that's have your guys go from site to site so that they know the clear path. When they're at the sites, go ahead and put down flags. I want you to flag all of your curb and gutters. You need to see where the edges are. And you need to take a different color flag, and you need to mark where manhole covers are. Why would we want to mark manhole covers, Jennifer?
Well, because your equipment could knock the covers off and somebody can slip and fall in that hole.
Or your guys could come home toothless.
Yeah.
I've seen guys hit a manhole cover, man, and about go through the skid steer glass. Or, then they've got this big bruise on, or if they're in the truck, they've got their big bruise on their belly where they've hit it. And if that plow doesn't trip over, it's got it. So dangerous stuff there. But anyway, guys, we'll probably be talking about this tomorrow. We got another snow event happening tonight, and it's paying the bills.
It is paying the bills. It's tough work. It's not for the
faint of heart.
No, it's not. So. Just make sure you take care of your guys. You know, if they're out there working long hours, get them at home on time. Get them some rest. Make sure they've eaten. Hydrate.
Yeah.
Take care of your people.
Time.
I promise you. Take care of your people. They're going to take care of you.
That's right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us here this morning on Turf's Up Radio. This is the Turf Teacher signing out. I'll see you in the next lecture.
And this is Jennifer Jones, the Turfette, and we'll see you here tomorrow morning on Turf's Up Radio at 8 a.m. Your industry, your station.